Known as El-Negro, Pedro Alonzo Nino was born in Manguer, Spain in 1468. He also had brothers who were sailors. The Nino brothers, Pedro Alonzo, Francisco, and Juan, were black explorers, all born in Manguer, Spain.
They joined Christopher Columbus for his expedition to America, and they were there during his 3 trips. They were already seasoned sailors before joining Columbus. They sailed to many places, particularly in Venezuela. The Nino brothers also traveled without Christopher Columbus. Pedro sailed to West Africa coast by himself. Pedro ventured solo in the Americas, in areas Christopher Columbus hadn't explored yet. Pedro explored the west coast of Africa in his early years and many other places. You see, Nino was a very experienced sailor and navigator long before meeting Columbus. Nino guided Columbus and navigated the Atlantic Ocean as he piloted the Santa Maria during Christopher Columbus' expedition of 1492. Now, we have all heard of the Nina, the Peña, and the Santa Maria, but how many of us know that a black man by the name of Pedro Alonzo Nino actually navigated the ship? We all should know his name.
Now, this bears repeating. We've all heard that Columbus sailed the ocean blue on the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. But how many of us knew that the Santa Maria was actually navigated by this black man? Yes, Pedro Alonzo Nino navigated the Santa Maria. How is it that he knew the way to America? How is it that he knew his way all around the world? He obviously had sailed prior to coming to America.
Yes, Pedro Alonzo Nino, also known as El-Negro, a black man. El-Negro also accompanied and navigated the ship with Columbus during his 3rd voyage that saw the so-called discovery of Trinidad and the mouths of the Orinoco River. After returning to Spain, he resolved to go to the Indies on his own account in search of the gold and pearls that the Indians had in great abundance. In the company of brothers Luis and Cristobal de la Guerra, respectively, a rich merchant and a pilot, El-Negro left San Lucas in May 1499, and after 23 days, they arrived in Maracapana, visiting the islands of Isla Margarita, Coche, and Cubagua. The trip was commissioned by Bishop Juan Rodriguez de Fonseca to explore the Gulf of Paria. On the island of Margarita, they bartered for a considerable quantity of pearls and then made their way to the Cubagua Islands, which they believed to be part of Tierra Firme. There, they traded for a substantial amount of pearls. During that trip, they also sailed up the coast to Punta Araya, where they discovered the famous salt mines that are still called by the same name today. After just 2 months, they were back in Bayona, Spain, loaded with wealth. However, upon returning to Spain in April 1500, they were accused of cheating King Ferdinand II out of his portion of the spoils. Arrested and his property was confiscated. Nino was exonerated of all charges, was set free, and gained fame for participating in one of the most lucrative voyages to the New World.
Much of the information on this video can be easily found on Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, also encyclopedias, almanacs, transcripts, and maps on Pedro Alonzo Nino, 1468 to 1505. You know, I find it so interesting how we never hear about these great men of the sea, how we never hear about our story being told from our perspectives. That is exactly why we must take responsibility to tell our own story. No one else has an interest, nor should they. It is our responsibility to tell our story. Nobody can tell our story the way we can. And the truth of the matter is, no one else should be telling our story. We need to take that responsibility. That's why I don't get upset with this critical race theory and how they want to take our story out of the textbooks. That's fine with me, because the truth is, they don't get it right anyway. Rarely do they tell our story right. Many of us, I never knew that a black man navigated the ship, the Santa Maria. Pedro Alonzo Nino. Let me repeat that. Let me get his name right. It's Pedro Alonzo Nino. Now, if he navigated the ship, the Santa Maria, that must means he knew his way around the sea. So for those who say, well, black people did not sail ships prior to Columbus, this proves that we in fact navigated ships, not only ships to America, but ships all around the world. So we pay homage to Pedro Alonzo Nino and his brothers, Francisco and Juan. They came from a family of great sailors, and I believe his name should be known just as much as Christopher Columbus and other men of history. Pedro Alonzo Nino. The Black Excellence and Abundance Channel, where Black history is every day.
Thanks for watching.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, thou art rich.